All right. Good morning. Welcome to another day in paradise. Yeah. Now, sit in a chair, stand on the floor, sit on a bolster or a cushion, lay on the ground. If at any point, so, the world is kind of heaving with its pendulum swings. It's either like super duper joy, a baby's been born, or, it's the pendulum is swinging from side to side. It seems like it's not just kind of wagging like an old dog. It's swinging like a young puppy that doesn't know where all his treats are. So if you find that you get to the point where the energy in the body builds, but it doesn't want to dissipate as we're moving through these movements today, because we're going to be squeezing into the belly a little bit, just take a break, lay down, or just sit and open up and just see what rises. There's stuff. I mean, the stuff, it's not just me. I know it's not just me. It's like the universe is taking us and shaking us upside down. So all of our little frogs and stones and marbles and whatever fall out of our pocket. So if that stuff starts to get intense, sit with it. There's no performing here anymore. We do not have to do that garbage anymore. We don't have to go, well, but they're doing, and they're standing on their head, and we don't do that garbage anymore. And most of you didn't do that garbage to begin with anyways. I can tell you that for probably the first 10 years of my yoga existence, I did a lot of performing. It was, well, that person over there could do that, and that person, and then if I can do that, then I will be. I don't know, who in God's name am I on a regular basis anyways? All right, so today we have a strap. We have something to make ourselves comfortable, and then slowly but surely, we then have our breath, and we start to breathe in and cause that diaphragm muscle to smile, and then we exhale and cause it to frown. And with each breath in and each breath out, try to lengthen the spine just a little more, just so we can get those rib points up and away from the hips. Just up and away, up and away. So if you're sitting on the floor and you're not able to get the ribs to make that little micro lift away from the hip bones, then maybe grab a cushion. If even still we're feeling stuck in the belly today, sit in a chair. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I used to think, oh, I'm not going to use a prop. I'm too good for that. Oh, no, I won't look like a yogi if I use that. Whatever. Just go with it. Breathing in, breathing out. You could use down pressure with the hands so that you can really lift up and out. You could drip like the Buddha and touch the floor if you need more of a conscious grounding technique. And just continue to breathe. Fill up and empty with purpose, like really squeeze down, fill up, squeeze it all out. And we're just going to keep moving like this. Big breaths, expanding. Big breath, fill. Keep going. If you need to lift the hands, and those of you that are familiar with pranayama, if you want to lift the hands and expand on the inhale and contract on the exhale, you're welcome to. Get into those shoulders, expand, 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 expand to contract. But the shoulders might not be ready for that. The body might not be ready to explode into that pranamaya kosha yet. You might still be squarely in that food body, and that energy body's like, nah, coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Nah. If you want to expand and start to speed the breath up, then start to move into more of an exaggerated breath. If it starts to get to be too much, then don't continue. Go back to a regular breath. But just keep that breath moving in some form or fashion that seems almost irregular, because you're lengthening more and you're exhaling for a longer amount of time. And then if you want to keep going and you want to start really inhaling, really pump that bellows. Give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let everything settle down. Keep going if you need to. Let it ride, let it ride, let it ride. But notice what the pumping does to that prana, to that energy, that life force. Are you buzzing? Are you feeling all the feels? Yes. And then back into that we go. One more round. If you don't want to use the arms, don't use the arms. Breathing in fully, exhaling down. Breathing in, extending through that belly. Exhale it down. Breathing. Exhaling. Breathing. Exhaling. Now this can be done standing up. So, you know, if you want to stand up and go full on in this, you can. Just if, you know, dizziness is always a worry. And you might not want to do it until the spots show up and you end up on your floor. And then start to expand a little faster. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Find what's good. See if there's any joy in there. See if there's any sorrow. Notice where the light is and where the light isn't as you slowly start to rotate a little bit from side to side. Here we go. Oh, the creaking of the bones. If you need to uncross the legs and recross the legs, do that. If you need to throw the legs out in front of you. If you're in a chair and you want to reach around and grab hold of the back of that chair for a little extended stretch on either side, just know that that's something that's available to you. And then as you come through, let those arms lift and drop. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. Lift, drop one more time. Slide back through center, right hand over to the right side. Stretch through that left side if you went the other way. There's zero judgment. Take that breath right into those ribs. And then extend and breathe all the way into the fingertips. And then exhale, pull down to the ribs. Inhale, extend. Exhale, ribs. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Now, just like we did to begin with, start to fill and release in a pattern or a non-pattern, because most people don't sit around and do this all day long, that works for you. If you need to reach across your chest instead because the shoulders are painful this morning, come on, make it work. Start that cosmic lawnmower. 3, 2, 1. Pull, slide through center. Just be with you. Because we're unforgettable in every way. From the musical genius himself, hand comes down, opposite side. Oh yeah, if you need to do the deodorant check, good. Checking in, got to do all the hygiene checks, even on Zoom. Reach, expand, reach across the front if you need to, or reach toward that knee. If it doesn't go there, don't force it. And then breathe to the tips of the fingers and then exhale. And breathe and exhale. And in and out. The expansion and contraction should feel different from side to side because of our dominant and non-dominant sides. Oh, yeah, come on. If you want to speed it up, speed it up. 3, 2, 1. Center it up. Oh, yeah. Loose as a goose. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Bring those feet up in front. Move that cushion if you need to. If you're in a chair, hang out where you are. Feet are going to come out. We're going to do those windshield wipers. Now, with the windshield wipers, if you want to add that breath to try to squeeze that hip energy out with the breath, what I like to do personally, oh gosh, I have my teacher voice on today. I need to get rid of that. I need to have a breath. Okay, so I like to add color to my breath. If I breathe through the center and I exhale out, maybe my hip energy today is hot pink. And so when I squeeze off to the side, I'm squeezing out using quantum thought to take that stiff energy, that hot pink kind of annoying energy out of my left hip. And I'm squeezing out with my breath. One more time to each side. Give it a good squeeze, hugging those knees a little close to the floor through the center. Here we go. And then pulling up and in, grab onto those shins, lift that heart space. We're going to reach over and we're going to grab the back of that right leg. Ooh, look, I've got like socks on still. So I'm going to pull in and then I'm going to release out and pull and release and pull and release. And then I'm going to pull in, like tight in, lift that upper body, and then try to straighten that leg. Oh my, I found my hamstring. If you want to walk up to the ankle, walk up to the ankle. If you want to walk up to the foot, walk up to the foot. If you need to grab that strap, grab that strap. We're not going to be here a whole lot longer though. We're just fine right there behind the thigh. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Walk those hands down. Grab the back of the opposite leg. Pull that sock off. That was for Kevin. Pull that in. Lift and extend. And pull and extend. And pull and extend. Now pull in, tighten up, use those biceps. Yes, use that upper back to hold you in nicely and then extend up and out. So other contact points in the body, what's the bottom of the right foot doing? Maybe it could press down a little more into the floor. And then you could have a nice little hamstring squeeze over here on the right side. Walk those hands further down if it would feel good. Reach for a different body part. Give yourself 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then come back down. Grab the backs of both thighs. Pull the belly in. Wrap around the knees. So if you're in a chair, you're simply leaning forward in the chair and just dropping the fingertips down to the ankles or wrapping around the knees. And then a little egg posture. If you want to touch your eyebrows to your kneecaps first, before you lengthen the back of that neck, and then walk those tippy toes up and then balance. This is done in a chair just like it is on the floor. You have to move a little closer to the edge of the seat. Shoulder blades can always touch the back of the chair. Can also be done one leg at a time. We're just getting those hips used to the squeeze that's coming. Big breath in, big breath out. Now, for those of you that are super flexible, flex those feet, grab the outside edges of the feet and extend the heels up toward the corner of the room. For those that aren't super flexible, grab the backs of the thighs, extend up and out. If you need to collapse back a little bit, collapse back a little bit. But if you could reach for the backs of the thighs and reach elbow to elbow, that's always fun to do too. And find the breath. Your breath might be going. Now, this isn't Lamaze. We don't want to birth anything other than maybe, I don't know, we're gonna birth some cosmic thought today. Breathe in, breathe out. Let those feet come back down. The soles of the feet come together. Forward fold. In a chair, you're just going to step your feet wide and fold that body in between the thighs and knees. And then 2 times, we're going to breathe in, roll about halfway up, release the hips just a little, and then we're going to walk out a little further or drop down a little more between those thighs. And then the breath pulls in. We come up like a flag snapping in the wind, and then back down we go. If you need to make micro movements here and just shift from side to side, that might feel good, especially if kind of getting those knee points out, if that's something that we haven't been practicing in a while. If this is particularly uncomfortable, A, you can move the feet away from the body. B, you can move around, or you can completely throw your legs out in front of you and be done with this particular bit altogether. And then just for 2 breaths, find stillness somewhere. Go into some part of the body that is just not playing along right now and take the breath right into it. 2 breaths. Breathe into that part. If you need that colored smoke, blow it out. 1 more breath. And then roll that body up. Left leg goes out in front. Gather up the right. So left hand, right foot outside of the leg. Give that baby a swing. Doo, doo, doo. You can hum it a little lullaby. Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you throw them over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your ears hang low? Okay, so that might not have been a lullaby, but pause, pull in. So there's an extension of the spine that happens. So I'm back here. Okay, so now I'm crushed in my throat. I'm squeezing down into my belly. I want to release belly energy, release heart, open throat, and then pull. For those of you that are super flexible, hook the elbow around the outside of that foot, and bring it in. If you're in a chair, just love on it. If you want to go for the balance, hug in, pop that bad boy up like a turkey timer. Boo! Turkey's almost done. We'll say tofurkey. I haven't had a tofurkey yet. I've seen them in the store. I just much prefer not eating either one. Breathe in, breathe out, put that down. That ankle goes on top of that thigh. We're gonna reach up and up and up and up and up and up and up. We're gonna breathe in, we're gonna exhale, elbows to ribs. 1, breathe in. Exhale, 2, breathe in. Exhale, 3, breathe in, reach, and then fold forward over that leg. Full breath. Strap here if you need it. So you've got that foot can go on the inside if it needs to. It does not have to be on top of this thigh. So for folks that have muscle tenderness due to medication, chronic fatigue, you name it, this doesn't always feel good to have one body part pressing down into another muscle. So if you need to move that foot, it's yours. Put it somewhere else so that you're out of pain. Otherwise, it creates a stress response. We don't need that. We already got enough stress, right? Roll up, lift up, hands behind edge of your seat or right behind. Dig that heel in, lift the hips. If you need to put that foot down to lift the hips even more, beautiful. If those hips are not gonna leave the floor, don't make them. Just don't. If your heel is still on top of that thigh, go ahead and put the foot down. Lift the hips even more, then lift that left leg. I know, we're going to all the weird places today. So now I'm lifted. I can have my tush on the floor. I can still lift. If you want to cross over, lift even more. Breathe in, breathe out. Extend all that back out. Lift up. Find your breath. That may have been more than you banked for, so hopefully you didn't lift too much if you have arthritis. And then grab up. Left foot, right hand. Shake it all about. I was listening to a meditation yesterday and he was talking about playtime. He's like, let's have a play date. I'm like, let's. Why not? I mean, the man was singing my song yesterday. Unicorns, glitter, the universe. Why are we so miserable? You know, all of that good stuff. It's like, I have to like squash that stuff down because I know that people get tired of, oh, every day is full of rainbows. But there's something that happens when you go through enough misery in this life. You don't want to go there anymore. So then the unicorns and the glitter could show up. And if they do, then they're like, whee, and you want them to stay. Pause, pull up and in. Oh yeah, wrap even more if you can. Yes, Lord, love on that hip. So this is kind of like our play date today. Lean back if you want to. Turkey timer pops up, bam, right there. If you're needing a serious day, turn my sound off and just watch. Then I can be as serious as you need me to be. Whoa. That's Zoom empowerment techniques. Yeah. Put that leg back down. Ankle on top of the thigh or on the floor. We're going to then lift that heart, lift that heart, lift it, lift it, lift it, lift it. Elbows down, exhale. Lift, breathe in, 1. Exhale. Lift, breathe in, 2. Exhale. Lift, breathe in, 3. Exhale, dive, 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 dive. Those of you in chair, that right foot is just flat on the floor. This is a hip opener on both sides. So you're just leaning over that bent leg. That right foot is your support leg. It's bent at the knee. You're just holding. Breathe through it. If this is tight, oh, there's your breath. There's your breath. Come on, use that smoky colored breath. Breathe into that tight body part. So when I did the first side, it was my left hip that was tight. I breathed in. I'm sitting here doing it again. It's still my left hip that's tight. So if that keeps happening, that's where my attention is going to go today. That's where my stuck energy is. That's where that prana went in like a key turned in a lock and went, we're staying here. Don't need all that. No, no, no. All right, we're going to roll up. Ready for this other side? Drop those hands back. Yep. Hips lift. If it's too much to have that hand there or that heel there, bring that out. If you want to you could go way up. You could do all kinds of things. But if you're still balancing, give it one more breath. Then consciously put that left foot down. Consciously lift those hips a little more. If you want to pull the right foot in and reverse table it all together, you can. Otherwise, right leg goes up. Tush comes down if it needs to. The heel can land. You can lift even more. And when you feel done, the tush comes down. The feet land. We roll onto our backs. We grab that strap that we came with today. We take it on down. If you are in a chair, you are simply going to come to the front edge of the chair. I'm going to slide a chair in a second just so that you can see what's going on. And slide to the front edge of the chair, put the shoulder blades down. So we're down here. We got our feet flat on the floor. Easy breezy at first, hands on either side of the body, press down into the feet, lift those hips, and then plop them back down. Now move with breath here. There's nothing odd or weird. This is like the old 80s thing where you lift and squeeze, and then you put it down. So if you're in a chair, okay, hands, I can lift and squeeze and I can put it down. If that's too much for the wrists, then I just slide in and I open up. For those of you on the floor, lift, squeeze, and hold. If you're in a chair, touch the back of your head. Just hold that beautiful nugget there. Cherish it. We don't want to set off any neck tension. Squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hips slowly come back down to the floor. And then we're going to pull those thighs into the chest, hug them and rock a little from side to side. In the chair, we're simply going to rock forward, elbows and forearms on thighs, and just relieve that low back a little bit. And then once the rocking seems to need to stop, we're going to take those arms out into T position on the floor. Those legs are going to drop off to one side. So if I'm in a chair, that's going to be it's going to be weird. So all I'm going to do is sit up, let my body drop to the right. So everybody on the floor is going to let those legs drop to the right. If you went the other way, what do I care? It's your body. You do you. And then for those in the chair, you're going to spin off to the left. Everybody on the floor is going to let those legs drip off to the left side. Bit of a spinal twist. If it seems to be too much, sometimes what I'll do is I'll ball my fist up and I take my fist and I put it up under my knees. If that's still not enough, take a pillow or something and do that, or scooch close to a wall and drop your knees into the wall. Next breath comes in, those legs come up. Reach down, grab that right shin, left leg extends out long and long and long and long and long. Now, if it hovers a little bit while that hip flexor lets go, that's probably fairly normal. Otherwise, extend through the left heel, flex both feet, and pull the inner thighs closer to the midline of the body. And then start to compress that right thigh into that colon area. Yes, I said it. The colon. In a chair, you're simply pulling that thigh into the chest and holding it there. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Find that strap. Put it around that right foot. If your arthritis in your hands or wrists is really acting up today, you can tie a knot and then use the forearm. That way, as we start to do these circles, you don't have any squeezy going on in the hands. So you're just gonna take that leg and you're gonna start stirring in circles. Oh yeah, stir it up, people, stir it up. Doesn't matter which direction you're going. Just stirring and stirring and stirring. I'm gonna show this in a chair too. You take that leg out there and we're just moving. That's all we're doing. Yep. Beautiful. Now let those circles start to get bigger. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh yeah. See what you got here. I'm gonna come look. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, free that hip up. Woo! I mean, like lasso the moon with that hip. Awesome. Nice. And then when you get where you get, take a breath, pause there, and slowly start to go in the other direction. There might be all kinds of fun things stuffed in that hip this morning. Could be some popcorn, some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I hope that they never get back. All right. Boy, I got a bunch of kids songs stuck in my head today. Let those circles grow. Have the patience with the back of this thigh that the back of this thigh needs. Round and round and round we go. Give yourself one full breath to make a revolution around, and then let that leg come right up over the body. Walk the hands up the thigh, and then supine split. Start to pull that leg over the body. But we're not just going to pull it there and hold. So I'm going to pull, I've got my right hand on the strap, and then I'm going to bend that knee, pull that knee toward my armpit, and then I'm going to straighten that leg up. Bend the knee, thigh goes to the floor, and then the leg straightens up. If this seems like balderdash to you and you're not going to do that in this lifetime, just do something that makes you happy. Otherwise, pull. Play with that joint, see what's there. And then one more time, pull. For those of you that are flexible enough, reach out, grab the edge of that foot. You're still attempting to keep the back of the left foot on the ground. If it floats, it floats. But we're still attempting to open across this groin space in a way that, well, quite frankly, most of us don't sit around and do. That's why we call it yoga, because it's the union between our reality and our yoga sub-reality, right? Breathing in, Breathe out, release that leg, grab that strap in the left hand, right arm goes out into T, and then only pull across the body as much as it takes to get the outside of that right IT band firing. It's like I go, and then all of a sudden, my little baby toe and my little second to baby toe out there, you know, why don't those little piggies have little names? But anyways, I can start to feel it in my heel and my outer two toes. And we just hold there. So if you're really needing that full spinal twist, let that leg drop, really stretch into that. Otherwise, just hit that IT band. Yeah, I heard half of you swearing at me. That's okay. The back of my leg is swearing at me too. I just noticed it's stealing my breath while I'm sitting here thinking. I'm thinking. I start to miss the body and its signals. I'm just going to take the breath into the back of my leg, give it color, and then breathe it out. For whatever reason, what's going on in the back of the right leg is almost like an ice blue color. The third breath is going to bring that leg up and over. We're going to switch to the strap to the right hand. Left arm goes out into T, and then drop that right leg way open. There you go. So if you're in a chair or if you're seated on the floor, this simply opens up and out. Make it yours. Make it work. So the work here, as I'm dragging around my mic pack because I don't want to lay on it and then I don't want to squish it. The work here is open groin space. But then I've got shoulder blades and a sacrum to pay attention to as well. And then what about the back of my left heel? Once the body relaxes into that, then what can I do with the leg? I might need to bend it. I may just need to get into that inner thigh. For me, still the back of that thigh. 2 more breaths here. Making it happen. Stirring the energies. Oh, so fun. The next breath brings that leg up. Both feet go inside the strap. So if you're in a chair, simply move to the back edge of the chair a little bit so you don't slide out. Pick those feet up in that strap and then shimmy around in the seat of the chair until you can find a balance point. Just holding here. If you want to pull and pull and pull and pull and pull, sweet. Now, for those of you that like a plow posture, I actually don't really teach plow posture a whole lot anymore because of the number of folks that come through with cervical issues. For those of you that have never been told by your physical therapist, don't ever do that again, and you love plow, release your strap, hands on either side of the hips, and pop those toes back behind the head. If you love a shoulder stand, this is where you would add that. But for the most part, we're just looking for reverse blood flow. Well, it's not necessarily reverse, but we're using gravity to strengthen the valves in the venous structure. Normally we stand up, blood flows down, diastolic pumps it back up. It has to work hard. Now we're flipping it on its head. And when the blood is flowing down, the valves open and close, kind of like a lock system, pushes it down, or gravity lets it fall down. And then when we turn it on its head like this, the valves that are normally just kind of opening and closing because they're just chill are actually having to go, whoa, whoa, whoa. This also helps drain fluid out of the ankles. That's always a plus for those of us that have gotten really into salty foods for COVID. Breathe in, Breathe out. If you're in a plow or a shoulder stand, come on out. Let that blood pressure settle before you start the next side. Take that right foot out. Squeeze that thigh into the chest. So left thigh now goes into the belly or the chest. Both feet are flexed. Shoulder blades flat on the floor. Back of the neck is really, really long. And then feel the back side of the body breathe into the floor while you squeeze that colon with that left thigh. Squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. If that right leg is hovering, awesome. If you're in a chair, that right foot's just flat on the floor and that left leg is being squeezed in. One more breath breathes into that thigh. And then we just extend up. Give it a little pull over the body. Ooh. Beautiful. And then start that process where we're going to hold the straps in the left hand. We're going to bend that thigh, pull it toward the armpit, and then lift. Bend and lift. Bend and lift really deep into this acetabulum area. Oh man, you got that big old head ball on the head of that femur, and it's plugged into that pelvis, into that joint space, that acetabulum space. So if you've had a hip replacement, be real gentle here. This time we're going to pull down and in, pull down and in, pull down and in. If you can reach for the outside edge of that foot, do so. Hold there, nice and wide. The back of, so my right foot is trying to like hover. It's going, it wants to fly. We're going to take the back of that right leg and we're going to try to press it down. Figure out what's revolting in the body. You're not revolting. Your body is revolting. It's having a revolt. Breathe in. Breathe out. Release and start to make circles. Nice. And liquid in that hip now. There we go. Let those circles get bigger and bigger. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I think I finally found out what's going on in this left hip. Anybody else figure out what's going on in yours? Woo! Here we go. Add the breath. What would the breath do here? The breath. Like Ed and Linda say, what would love do here? I don't know. Add love right here. What would that do? Give yourself one full breathy circle. And then pause and start to move slowly in the other direction. I like to grab onto the strap with my right hand. You could hold on with both. You could completely let go of the strap if the hands and fingers are not happy with us today. Beautiful. I mean, you can really rock through this off into the other hip, rolling across the back of that pelvis. Oh yeah, add the love here, add the love. Where is it? What do we need? What do we need? Full breath, one more time, all the way around. And then let that leg come up over center. Grab onto the strap with the right hand and then pull that leg, oh yes, slightly across the body. So I'll stand and show this. Sometimes it's a little hard because you guys are laying down and you've got a screen off on one side. Still got my battery pack. So I'm laying down and I'm going to take this leg up, and I'm going to bring it across. So it's like, what? So my hips stay where they are, but I'm a bit like I've had one too many this morning. There we go. And I'm just bringing it across the center line of the body. If you want to go full on, roll up on that right hip and take it all the way over, beautiful. Do the full spinal twist. That's not designed for every body. So this, the IT band, oh, it's a something, isn't it? Breathe right there. If you could breathe the smoke out of what's burning right there, what color would the smoke be? Inhale. Exhale. Bring that leg up through center and off to the other side we go. Arm out in T position. I'm holding my little doodad here. And just open through that pelvis region. Shoulder blades attempt to stay on the floor. The back of that tush tries to stay on the floor, but you know what? If it doesn't, it doesn't. You may find something through our yoga workouts where you go, ooh, that's the thing right there. I need to do that every day for 2 weeks. That's the thing that's been keeping me from da-da-da-da, or the thing that's been pinching when I do da-da-da-da-da. When you find those things, maybe make a note of it. Conscious effort, put it in there. Spend 2 weeks on it. One more breath in. Breath out. Let that come up through center. Grab both straps. Pull over the top of the body. Now, for those of you in a chair, you're going to have to work this next one and go with your gut on it. Go with the safety. Safety is always best. We're going to take both feet. We're going to put them both in here. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to rock and roll, whoop, until we come up into a seated position. I've got my reins. I'm holding on. If your hands are hurting, put it down. But I'm going to reach a little closer to my feet. I'm going to widen the knees, pull them out by my elbows, and then straighten everything out. Widen the knees, feet come together, and then straighten it all out. Like butterfly wings. So this is a balanced Baddha Konasana is what this is. And straighten it out one more time. There we go. Yes! Straighten it out. Now here's our upper back work. So I can see I'm kind of rounded. I want to lift my chest toward my toes, widen my arms, and then use my belly wall. So I could let go of this completely if I wanted to. Use my belly wall and the space in between my shoulder blades to give myself a little pause. Breathing in. Breathing out, roll back onto the back, release the strap, grab those thighs, and just rock from side to side. Beautiful. So I promised a little belly down work. I know everybody's really excited. So if you need a blanket or something up under the hip bones, because the hip bones are a little pointy and the floor is a little solid, then grab a bolster or something or a blanket. Otherwise, we're rolling to the belly. If you are in a chair, I'm going to show this in just a second. You're going to walk to the back edge of the chair, plant your hands on the back edge of the chair, and you're going to do everything with one leg at a time instead of an upper body. But we're going to roll down into the floor. For everybody that's here for the moment, I'm going to talk a little quieter so that it doesn't sound so shouty and echoey. Breathe the belly into the floor. Now, by adding breath, adding color, adding intention, we're in the pranamaya kosha. We're using quantum energy in our energy field to assist with our own flexibility and our own healing and the release of any pent up energy. Big toes come together. Head lifts slightly. Hands move closer to the collarbones. And I'm just going to support myself and try to pull the ribs up and away from the floor. Now, if you want to go full Sphinx posture, elbows come in, hands long on the mat, lifting that way. That doesn't work for all arms. And so you can always fold in. Big toes still touching. Put a piece of paper in your mind in between your thighs and hold it there. Pubic bone presses down. Tush squeezes. Chin pulls into the hollow of the throat. 3 breaths and hold. So if your hips are up on a pillow, you simply just use a little more extension of the arm to get up and away from the floor. Breathing in. Breathing out. Slowly shift through those arms, roll all the way down. Turn the head to one side if that would be comfortable. And then I'm going to show this on the back of a chair. So you would plant and extend. Pelvis comes into the back of the chair. Just make sure the legs of that chair are really planted. Really pressing in, squeezing into those thighs, pressing down through arms, extending through the belly. Big breath in, chin, mouth, or forehead on the mat. Big toes touching. Head lifts slightly, chin pulls into the hollow of the throat. Left leg doesn't press down, it just relaxes. Right leg lifts away. So just with the lift of the back of the hamstring, just the lift of the glute, just the lift in the low back. If you need to put the head down, you can put the head down, but we've got the support of those forearms. Breathe in, breathe out, leg comes down, forehead comes down. Just notice what's flowing through. Just what's flowing through. Head starts to rise, big toes touch to begin with, right leg relaxes, left leg peels away from the floor. Now what you'll see happen is if I'm pressing down with my right leg, I'm going to get higher with my left. I can really crank it up there, but now I've got this little twist going back there at the SI joint, and I don't want that. So that right leg just relaxes. That left hip bone is making contact. The chin is pulling into the hollow of the throat. I know that right leg is wanting to fire off because that hip flexor is so strong, and it really wants to assist the lift in this leg, but we hold and we breathe. And we hold and we breathe and we hold and we breathe. And then the next exhale takes us back down toward the mat. If you're in the back of the chair, you're simply lifting one leg at a time. Bend in over the back of the chair, lift one leg and hold. Now this time, hands slide back by the hips, chin pulls into the hollow of the throat, just the upper body lifts, hands lift away from the floor. If that's too much, hands under shoulders. If that's still too much, lower the upper body. Try lifting the lower body instead. If you wanted to, you could clasp hands behind the back or grab a strap and reach toward the heels. Big toes touching tops of the feet, slightly pressing down. Breathe in. Breathe out, rolling down. And just finding equanimity. Big toes touching, chin, mouth, or forehead on the floor. Hands on either side of the hips. Feet peel up off the floor this time. I'm going to pick my head up so it doesn't sound like I'm trying to teach from a trash can. You know, it's like, you know, if you ever had the hiding place when you were playing hide and go seek and you sat in the tub and somebody found you and then you heard your own voice echoing off the walls, or like I did, you got in the trash can one time. Crawl those fingertips back down past the hips while those big toes try to touch. Making all this work if you're standing. One leg at a time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower it all down. Turn the head to one side. Find that belly energy. Breathe that belly energy into the mat. Last little bit here. Almost in the home stretch. For those of you that have a bow posture that you practice where your toes go toward the ceiling and you reach back with your hands and grab your feet, and then you do that beautiful wee thing where you float on your ribs and your hips. Gorgeous. Go forth. Do great things. Anybody that wants to try it with a strap, grab those ankles, lift, press back. Those of you that think that's just absolutely nuts, simply let the upper body and lower body shift up and away from the floor. Hands come down if they need to for support. Pick one end of the body if you need to, top end or bottom end. Make this yours. Breathing in. Breathing out. Oh, collapsing slightly, rolling onto the back. Ooh. Those knees into the chest. Rock yourself from side to side. If you're on your back, you can roll forward and back. I was trying not to squish my battery pack. You can roll. You can add more things here. If this is where you wanted to add a handstand against the wall or a cartwheel or whatever, it's up to you. But really pull in, squish in. Use those beautiful thighs to compress that belly. Compress, 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 compress. And then hands to knees, make little circles, little sacral circles. If you're in a chair, it's a little harder to do with both legs, so you may want to just pick one leg at a time. Pause, go in the other direction or grab the other leg. And then happy baby is a-coming. And we've been through wind relieving posture, but I have to say that happy baby is like the ultimate. We're all hanging out in our squares. It's all good. If the diet has been off, We may be a little gassy. That is definitely something to pay attention to. Feet up and out, knees bent, and pull those thighs down toward the floor. And just holding there. If you want to do the balanced version, just pull it on up. It's up to you. I mean, if we've fallen off of our exercise regime, we've fallen off of our eating routines, and we're getting signals, acid reflux, gas, just body parts that just aren't working right. Maybe we need to bring those back in line. I did like it wasn't a fast, it was like a calorie cut, where I cut down below 1,000 calories a day just to give my body a reset point. I cut out salt, did great things. With one more breath, exhale, and then extend yourself out. Find that happy resting space. Turn the lights down. Snuggle with yourself. If you've got a blanket, you could cover up with a blanket. Some folks like to add weight to the chest. You got a big furry cat around, put your cat on your chest. And before you drift too much, let's go back into that energy body, that pranamaya kosha, and start the breath again. Breathing in fully all the way down to the heels. Exhaling to the crown of the head. Inhale to the heels. Exhale, crown of the head. One more time, inhale, heels. Exhale, crown of the head. And release that doing. Just turn the head slightly to the right. Fill the left side of the neck with breath. And move through center, off to the left. Holding right there. Breathe into the right side of the neck. And the next time you exhale, exhale through center. Release the tongue into the base of the mouth. Make a little gap between the top teeth and bottom teeth. And then just hold. Let your breath begin to fill the lungs again. Using our mind energy, we have 5 lobes of the lungs. On the right, we have 3 lobes. They look like a stoplight. And on the left, we have 2 because the heart takes up some of that space. We're going to start in the top right lobe, and we're going to fill the top right lobe with breath. And release it out. And then the second lobe on that side, fill that middle lobe, right side. And then the bottom right lobe, fill that one with breath. Top left, breathe in. Exhaling out around the heart. Bottom left, breathing in. Exhale around that heart. Next breath fills and sound escapes. We'll do 3 of them. Inhale. Breathing in. Third breath. If you need to stay where you are, just stay there and absorb your practice. If not, give yourself some small movements. See what's there. I have to say, at this point in class, because folks have dodged out to their other classes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're half and half, men and women. Where does that ever happen? Nice. Beautiful work today. I'm sorry, it's weird. I'm trying to figure out how to use the mic and be belly down and not blow your eardrums out and teach to different levels. It's the universe. Yay, we'll do all